And staying with the legislature, the Ontario Liberals, they have a new leader. Mississauga Mayor Bonnie Crombie won the leadership vote on Saturday with less than 3 years to rebuild the party before the next election. And she joins me live now with more on what she hopes to accomplish before going head-to-head with the Conservatives in 2026. Mayor Crombie, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the win this weekend. I know it was hard fought over the last year.
Yes.
And this, your first full day yesterday, you talked about raising money, $1 million before the end of the year. Very ambitious goals. What is your first priority, though, when it comes to rebuilding this party that you really do have to lift from the ashes?
Well, thanks very much. So yesterday I had the opportunity to sit down with all the provincial executives, all the riding presidents at Provincial Council. I sat with Catherine McGarry, our president. I'm still a little hoarse from this party has been in the wilderness for a few years, so we are back. Being an Ontario Liberal is back, and I'm pretty excited about that. There's a real excitement and momentum about being a Liberal once again. But to do that and to get my name well known out in those local communities, we need to raise money. So I challenged each of them. I set a fundraising goal for them of $1 million by December 31st. So I hope they're all getting busy out there, planning holiday parties where they may have to charge a little bit to get everyone together. We will be sending fundraising letters out because we need to raise a war chest so that we can be relevant and that we can fight the next election.
And your plans right now, are you going to be trying to get your name out there, as you mentioned?
Of course.
Traveling the province to get that name out there, or are you going to be focusing more on trying to get a seat in the legislature?
So there's not a seat that's presenting itself. I mean, we looked at the Haldimand-Norfolk seat, but I spoke with John Fraser yesterday, and they have identified a local individual who has a lot of profile, so I'm pretty excited about that. My preference is always local people, not parachute candidates, so that's perfect. And of course, I'm the mayor of Mississauga, so I'm very hopeful that a Mississauga seat will open at some point. So yes, spending time in the small towns, the rural communities, agricultural communities, the northern communities, which is so beautiful in the north. Oh my goodness. So I can't wait to go back. So letting them get to know me and talking about our brand and what being a Liberal means to me and to them. And I know those communities feel neglected and isolated by this government. So give them an opportunity to tell me what their needs are, and our platform will speak to that.
Right. And so you mentioned there is a seat locally that may come up for you.
Well, you never know. Things do happen. So hopefully one will open that will make sense for me.
All right. On Saturday, after your win, shortly after the NDP put out a congratulatory press release as well, saying congrats to you for the win. What do you think about the reaction from the opposition, both the Conservatives and the NDP, about your win over the weekend?
Well, I think the leader of the opposition was very gracious. The Premier, as expected, he's concerned. I think he should be concerned because he knows I'm someone who has a lot of experience. I'm a known commodity. I have a lot of name recognition across the province, and I have a very strong track record. People know who I am. They know where I stand. They know because I'm a mayor, I'm very fiscally conservative, but yet I'm very socially progressive. So those are the things I stand for. Plus, in Mississauga, I've learned from Hazel McCallion, do your homework, and we are a very open, transparent government that is very accountable to the people. And that strongly differentiates us from this government at Queen's Park. Openness and transparency, because that lacks. And that will be a significant change that I would bring to the province.
Okay. And, you talk about the differences between yourself and the governing party right now with the PCs. There has been criticism, though, about the fundraising that you've received. A lot of developers, and there is concern that there may be a similarity there. What would you say to that when it comes to ties to developers in the province?
Well, I like to call them partners in home building, and certainly they donate to all parties. Not just to me, not just to the Conservatives, but the NDP as well. So the important thing is that we follow the rules. And it was the Liberal Party, in fact, that created those rules. It tells us we can't accept money from organizations or unions. We accept money from individuals. And we have all accepted money from individuals up to the limit, and that's it. So we follow the rules. They apply to us all. And I hope to continue to fundraise because we need to build that war chest. So I'm challenging right now all those PLAs, riding associations at the local level, to get busy. We need to put $1 million in the bank by December 31st.
What do you think the #1 issue is for Ontarians today?
Yeah, it's a lot of things, but affordability is missing. You know, I think our young people have lost the dream of owning their own home. They can't even find or afford an apartment to rent. So affordability, building housing that is affordable, not attainable, affordable. I think they're concerned about access to health care as well, when you know that 2.2 million people don't have a family doctor, and this government solution is taking us towards privatized medicine and private clinics. I think education is an issue for our young people. We are seeing ourselves moving towards a U.S.-style public system. That's very concerning, that our education system isn't funded properly, and there always seems to be unrest with the unions, the educators union, the nurses union, etc. And then, of course, for our young people, it's always about climate change and accepting the fact that I came here in a blazer today and it's December. So it is real, and we need to address it, and we need to have policies in place to address it. But more than that, we need policies that speak to the small towns and rural communities that feel, as I mentioned, isolated and neglected for too long. So I'll be on a listening tour, and I want to hear what their local issues are and how a Liberal government can address them.
All right. And tomorrow you're going to be meeting with caucus. Today you will be, of course, back at Mississauga City Hall as mayor, continuing to pass the budget and do that before you resign in January.
That's right. I'll be wearing 2 hats for a little while. Tonight is our OLP Christmas party at Queen's Park, and tomorrow I'll have a caucus meeting, and I have some meetings scheduled with some of our caucus members. So that's terrific, and I'm very excited.
Excellent. Well, congrats once again for your win over the weekend. We appreciate you coming in and making the time as well. All right.